What do all of these people have in common? Well, they were all legally killed by the same man, and that is just a handful of the 400 to 500 people he has executed. I'm talking about Albert Pierrepoint, who was known as Britain's most famous executioner. You see, Albert knew from a very young age that he would achieve this macabre career, as his father was an executioner and his uncle, and he wished to follow in their footsteps. He even wrote in a school essay that when he leaves school, he wishes to become the official executioner. When Albert's father passed away in 1922, he relentlessly studied his diaries and journals, hoping to perfect the art. What ended up making Albert so well known and so sought after was his quickness, his effectiveness, and his calmness during each execution. Noose sizing and rope length played an important role in the hanging process. When done correctly, it could avoid horrific decapitation and slowly strangling to death. A quick, humane death by breaking the neck was the ultimate goal. And Albert would eventually become a master of this morbid career. It wasn't until 1932, at the age of 27, when he was finally given a chance at executioner by assisting his Uncle Thomas. His first solo execution didn't come until 1941, when he hanged murderer Antonio Mancini. The following year, he executed George Cummings, who was also known as the Blackout Ripper. Following World War II, his career went into overdrive as he hanged over 200 war criminals. The Beast of Belsen and the Hyena of Auschwitz were a few of the most notorious he executed. On February 27, 1948, he ended the lives of 13 people in one day. The following year, John George Haig, better known as the Acid Bath Killer, enjoyed a brandy before being hanged by Albert. Believe it or not, he wasn't always encased in such morbid surroundings. Using money earned from those executions, he opened up a pub which was called Help the Poor Struggler. Unfortunately, his two jobs would unexpectedly collide. In 1950, a regular at the pub, James Corbett, had a wild night of drinking and even singing along to songs with Albert before going home and murdering his girlfriend. This resulted in a death sentence for James, which had to be carried out by Albert. He said it was the one and only time he regretted doing his job. His last 5 years as executioner, he hanged serial killer John Christie and Timothy Evans, as well as the controversial Ruth Ellis. She had shot her abusive husband to death, and that is when the views on capital punishment began to change. After a payment dispute in 1956, Albert Pierrepoint retired as executioner. Britain's most famous executioner passed away on July 10, 1992. His final death toll stands between 435 and 550.